Hello and welcome to Small Town Big Screen. I'm one of your hosts, Manny Manuel.
I'm Kyle Robertson.
We're talking about Afghan Luke today, which was released on September 11th, 2011, directed by Mike Clattenburg, written by Patrick Graham, Douglas Bell, and Barry Dunn, starring Nick Stahl, Nicholas Wright, and Stephen Lobo. Didn't have a Metascore, not enough critics, and it didn't have enough people on Letterboxd to give it a Letterboxd score, but I figured out the score myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it got a 2.2.
Okay.
As of October 24th, 2005.
All right.
So I added up all the scores and averaged out myself.
Nice.
It's a 2.4.
Oh,
2.2, sorry. It did get one Genie Award nomination for Best Costume Design.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Filming locations that pertain to us.
Yeah.
It was filmed in Cache Creek and Ashcroft, as well as Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
The plot.
Yeah.
For Afghan Luke. An experienced journalist risks returning to Afghanistan in pursuit of a sensational story. Kyle, what are your spoiler-free thoughts on Afghan Luke?
I had absolutely no idea what to expect. Like, I say that a lot, but
Okay.
I really was clueless as to what this was going to be about. I didn't even read the description at all, just because fun, you know?
Sure.
And it's interesting. They're taking an interesting satirical approach that I was happy with. I enjoyed the comedy. I came to find that Mike Clattenburg is one of the creators, I believe, of Trailer Park Boys.
Okay.
So I enjoyed the comedy, and I can see why, because I have traditionally also enjoyed Trailer Park Boys.
Okay.
It's very clearly a lower budget film. And not going to say it suffers from that, because I don't believe in suffering from your budget.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that there are some things where a little more money would have gone a long way with, and we'll get into it later.
Sure.
But it's fine, overall. This is a big story to tell on a small budget. So it's kind of a tough thing. But I did find myself laughing a lot. I did find myself interested in the story. So I think it is effective. I do think, like, it's hard when you're watching a movie and you can kind of tell you're watching a movie a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I had like a pleasant time. So I'm not complaining too much.
Awesome.
How about you, Manny?
Didn't like it.
Yeah?
Boring. Definitely could see the lower budget.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't knock it for that, because I knew that this was a lower budget film, and I'm willing to forgo a lot for smaller productions.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me that much. I can see the difference, obviously, where the money goes. So I'm not going to knock it for that.
Yeah.
But I found this movie to be so incredibly boring and completely uninteresting.
Oh.
And while the humor was there, I found their attempts at being serious to be incredibly lackluster. And
I can agree to a point. There's one character who I will talk about later who really takes away from that part of it.
Sure.
A lot.
Okay. Can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah.
So wasn't a fan
Yeah.
of this film. No. I also went in blind. Had no idea.
Yeah.
Press play.
It's kind of fun, hey?
Is it?
To do. Maybe it didn't work out for you this time.
Definitely didn't. Let's move on.
All right. Your 5 favorite things. Number 5.
I'm going number 5 again.
Oh, no, I'll do it.
No,
You're
I
right.
got it.
No, you're right. I'm doing it. My number 5 is the story. The idea of this movie, I enjoy. The idea of this journalist going out and trying to prove some like war crime that Canadians are committing in Afghanistan. I think that was fun, and the way it's laid out is really good. I appreciate the writing from that point of view. There's just things that lose that heart throughout. So, but I enjoyed the story.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is the Lewis Black cameo.
Yeah.
A comedian that I enjoyed watching when I was younger, back in the 90s.
3-minute cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah. As himself.
As himself.
Yeah.
I was like, when I came on screen, I'm like, oh, it's Lewis Black. And then they literally say, it's Lewis Black. I was like, nice. Nice. He doesn't even have to act.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was a nice moment for me.
Sweet. I'm glad. My number 4, excuse me, is the rendition of, whoa, my numbers are wrong. My number 4 is the humor.
Okay.
I enjoyed the comedy. There's a lot of things that make me laugh. You're gonna hear my next 3 are all like part of this.
Okay.
It was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pleasant.
Also, the satirical aspect of it. Too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I could understand. I'm glad you made that pick.
Thank you.
Yeah. I kind of looking at. I understand why, and I'm glad you made that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My number 4 is a quote.
Yeah.
And because I was so completely uninterested in this movie,
yeah,
I couldn't tell you character names.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you one of them.
Okay.
Don't care. But one character says to Nick Stahl's buddy, please go back to the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Got a chuckle out of me. Got a chuckle out of me.
Yeah.
So
see, it's funny.
That's why I said I liked your pick.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're number 3.
My number 3 is Mateen's rendition of "Bang Bang" by Kanon right at the beginning of the film. You know that song?
Don't.
He's singing a song that I quite like.
Okay.
And he's just singing. It's a very like North American song.
All right.
And he's singing it, and he's good. He's funny at doing that.
Okay.
And I enjoy it. So that's my number 3.
I'm going to take your word for that.
Yeah.
My number 3 is another quote.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, my number 2. Wait, number 2? I'm at number 2. My number 2.
Really?
Oh, no, I'm at number 3. I
Yeah.
see here. My number 3 is one that I return to often. It was just seeing the Cache Creek and Ashcroft areas.
Yeah.
As soon as it came up, which is almost right away. And it's obviously throughout the
whole film.
The whole film. I'm just like, I know. I don't know exactly where they are.
Yeah.
But I grew up in this area. And I was just like, this is great.
Yeah.
To see it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I liked it. So that's my number 3.
Nice. My number 2 is the character of Mateen, the fixer, played by Stephen Lobo.
Mm-hmm.
I just really enjoy the character. He carries the dramatic weight of this film the best out of anybody, and he's also the funniest, in my opinion. Just really well executed character. I would be interested to see more of Stephen Lobo's roles, personally, especially if it's comedy. I thought he was hilarious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Your number 2, Manny.
My number 2 is another quote.
Okay. Quotes today.
Quote. This quote is between, again, Nick Stahl's character, and I'm going to be nice here, and it is the actress who is desperately trying to do Florence Pugh's accent from the Marvel films. She is trying her best to sound like
some kind of Eastern Europe, Baltic
but
thing.
the quote is him going, didn't know Latvia was part of NATO, and she replies, I didn't know Canada was a great military power again. She says it was a really great sarcastic tone.
Yeah.
It's a really nice line. It got a smile from me. It's my number 2.
Yeah, that is a good line.
Yeah.
Nice. My number 1. It is a line. It is from Stephen Lobo's Mateen.
Okay.
And is near the beginning of the film when he's declining to take them further when there's something going on. And he says, "We are democracy now. Thank you, America. I smoke cigarette anytime I want." And I'm not going to fully commit to the accent, but it's the way that he says America. It feels so sarcastic, but with the accent he's doing, it just like blends together into this like really funny pronunciation for me. But then the whole line had me laughing a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And just the idea that he's so like being that jaded to this quote unquote democracy that the United States is quote unquote installing morally, apparently. I like it. I liked the idea of, it feels like how you would talk to your friends about that kind of thing happening, like how we talk about what's going on to the south a little bit with a biting sarcasm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. My number 1 is another quote. And it ties into also a scene, but it's the quote that made it enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
Again, don't know characters, but it's when they're watching like the goat body goal scoring game.
Yeah. Oh, that
Okay.
was funny.
So, whatever. But that gangster guy shows up
Yeah.
and starts shooting at him, and then his little minion comes down and starts fighting the Foo Fighter guy, and he pulls his shirt over top of him, and he goes, "You've been jerseyed, you son of a bee," and I got a genuine laugh. Because as soon as he did it, I'm like, oh, he jerseyed him. And then he said it. And I was like, okay, you got me.
Nice.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite moment of the film.
Sweet. Very good.
All right, what didn't we like?
I didn't like the character of Tom, who is the Foo Fighters guy.
Okay.
I thought the character was a little weak. The performance was a little weak. In serious moments, he didn't quite rise to the occasion, acting-wise, I would say. And then his type of comedy is less my style.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of and the way the character is written as well is kind of to me. So it was probably my least favorite part.
Okay.
How about you, man?
I had a hard time with this because I didn't like a lot. I found the movie boring. The characters uninteresting. The whole idea of what he's doing to be worthless. Yeah, I can't pin anything down. I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great job.
Why don't we go
film
have?
reviewers' thoughts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just don't. I can't articulate it. But
Yeah.
watching the movie left me bored to tears.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Well, on that note, let's pick things up a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk to Bill Sarai about his experience in A Peek Behind the Curtain.
Welcome to Peek Behind the Curtain. We have our guest Bill Sarai with us today. We're going to ask him a few questions about his time spent on Afghan Luke. How's it going, Bill?
It's going great. Thank you for the invite.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So what did you do exactly on the film?
I was an extra in the background of there was a warlord fight.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in horses, Afghan warriors on horses, and they had a contest against another tribe. And we were the background in a village in a mountain area of Afghanistan.
Oh, is that like the goat body goal scoring?
That's the one. It was really weird to see a Canadian hockey net in a shot of an Afghan village and across the world, and they're throwing a carcass of a goat into a hockey net on horseback.
Yeah. It was
crazy.
It was a surreal scene.
Yes. Yeah. We didn't look surprised. We just went with the flow.
Reacted honestly.
Nice.
I thought it was my hockey net because I've been missing it for quite a while.
How did you get to join the film, Bill?
Actually, if I remember, it was put out either through an email or a social media. Like it wasn't that in that era of time. It wasn't, Facebook wasn't so strong. I don't remember if it was in Kamloops this week. There's something there looking for extras, Middle Eastern looking, all different age groups, students as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I think, if I remember correctly, it was at the old Walmart building. I think it was up there somewhere in Sally Mall that we all lined up and brought our pictures with us or whatever, our history. And they took a picture of us and they did a little mini interview. And then they said they'd get back to us. And there must have been 400 or 500 people lined up there of all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And eventually I got the call, and my daughter was with me too. She got the call, and we went for another interview, and they just mentioned if we had anybody else in the family that would be interested in doing an extra. And we said, well, I got a younger son, and he's only like 9 years old though. And she goes, well, if you can sign for him and give us a picture of him, and you authorize that he can be in an extra, we'd like to see a picture of him. So I sent him a picture of Nick, and he got recruited as well. And the funny part of the whole thing is I was an extra holding a goat up on the hill. My daughter was in a veil on the log watching the event happen. And Nick was he was a nephew of the warlord, and they actually brought him in and had a talking scene in there,
Nice.
and took him up to the funeral. And his uncle had broke the news to him that his dad had passed away in a fight, and that they're bringing the body in for cremation, and they took him up the hill to pay his respects. And as they're paying his respects, the whole village is watching this ceremony, and they handed him a dog on a leash, and he's got this big grin, and he's walking down the hill. And on my drive home with him, I'm, Nick, like, did you not know you were going to your dad's funeral? He goes, yeah, they told me. I go, but you were smiling on the way back down the hill. He goes, Dad, they gave me a dog. And it was a beautiful beagle dog. Like I would have took the dog home, but I was going, and he didn't know. He was just a 9-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So there are some highlights. There's a couple that stand out for me, and my daughter brings it up at every family function when we talk about doing extras in movies again. It must have been take 32 on a scene, and it was probably my second time being extra, and this one was taking a lot of time, and the director is he wanted to be precise. Everything had to be just perfect. There must have been 100 extras there. I'm thinking at least 100. And I'm up on the hill, and the goat had already gone into his pen. So I'm standing there and take after take after take, and the scene wasn't anywhere near me. It was down below where my daughter was sitting. And so I think on the 32nd take, I was starving, and I know that the coffee break had happened 3 hours earlier, and I didn't get to the chocolate chip cookies in time. And so on the take 33, he broke, and they went and huddled. And I thought, and I looked, and the tent was right there. And I went, this is the opportune time to go get that cookie. So I snuck into the tent, and I just grabbed a cookie, and I poured myself a glass of milk. And all I heard, where's scene 33? He called out some number. Where is my extra in that scene? And I'm like, having the cookie, drinking, and I go, holy shit. Oh, I think that's me. And I sort of just wanted to peek to make sure, and I peeked, and everybody's staring at the tent.
Oh, no.
Everybody. And so my daughter still said that was the most embarrassing thing you ever did.
Oh.
But I thought I was going to get sent home. I think the reason they didn't send me home because I had my son and daughter, and that would have taken 3 of them out because they both weren't driving. They're both teenagers, or grade 9 years old, and I think she was 13 or 14. So I think I got an easy out on that one, but I never left my spot again. I stayed wherever I was told to stay.
How long were you working on the film for, Bill?
We were there 3 days.
3 days?
My son was there for 2. My daughter was there with me for 3 days. Yeah, and they're long days, but it was a lot of fun because it was something new to the area. It was something new to me. And what was really interesting and surprising, and didn't know that, 30 seconds of a film or something on TV takes 2 hours to get it right.
Yeah.
And even then it might not be right.
Yeah.
And that was it was just, and the manpower involved behind the scenes. Like the makeup people are astonishing what they can transform people into. And it was quite, it was an eye opener. And in the valley of Ashcroft and Cache Creek, in that area, when they let off the big bullet guns, that echo went all the way down the valley. And it was something cool.
Nice.
Sweet. So this isn't your first, or is this your first film that you worked on actually?
I think Afghan Luke was my first, and then there was another one shot at Padova, then it was Night in the Museum, and there was one more, I can't remember what it was now. It was very, I think it was like a couple of hours, but most of the ones we did shoot were in that Ashcroft, Cache Creek, Afghan mountain, dry desert look.
Yeah.
And that's, at that time, I guess that was what was the high interest.
Yeah.
And if we looked around when we went down in that valley and you looked up, it actually really resembled Afghanistan, especially in the summertime.
Nice.
So how does your experience on Afghan Luke kind of stand up to some of the other films you worked on? Because you did phone in with a bit of your experience on Night at the Museum on a previous episode.
Yeah, I think Afghan Luke was cool because I had my family with me. Like, it was nice to see them experience what I was experiencing. It'll be a lifelong memory for all of us. Night Museum, I was by myself, and that was a tough one because it was so hot. It was the middle of summer, heat dome, and they had these fans I was mentioning to you, like, are tall as this room to the ceiling, and they were probably just as wide, and they brought in hundreds of loads of sand to make it look like a sandstorm, and they're unearthing a mummy that was buried for 1,000 years. That was probably the length of this building. And I think everybody's just really frustrated because it was the sand, the heat, it's in your eyes, and you're there for hours and hours and hours. And the water they're handing out in the Gatorade is already warm because I've been sitting outside. So anything that they were trying to do to mitigate the environment wasn't working. And so a lot of people didn't come back the next day. And I went back the next day, but I didn't go back the third day. I think I actually got heat stroke.
Yep.
And it was that was a tough one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was tough.
Yeesh. Yeah, no, sometimes like we've said in previous interviews, like the weather can be one of the biggest factors in film. Like it's so tough to work in heat or rain. Like it completely changes your day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even like I was mentioning earlier, so many breaks, they're doing another take, and you get to rest, you get to sort of kick back. But when it's really that you're out in the open and there's no shade, and you're trying to, even if you're dehydrated and you're trying to get fluids in you, and those are warm, and the staff are doing the best they can. I think maybe the afterthought was, well, we should have brought coolers with ice in it, but you're in the middle of nowhere by the time they would have phoned that in. I don't know. There's a couple of drop balls there that didn't resonate very well, and people looked at it as, is it really worth the money of an extra to go back the next day? And most of them did phone in, and some just didn't.
Yeah. Have you seen the final product of Afghan Luke? Have you seen the movie?
I've seen the movie. It was years ago.
Yeah.
It was quite cool. And as soon as Nick's scene came on with going to the ceremony for his dad, we all pointed to it. And sure enough, we froze it and took a picture of it. And there's this big grin with the beagle dog. And we said, look, you were smiling. He goes, I never said I wasn't. We saw a glimpse of my daughter with a veil sitting on with her. I think there's 3 or 4 ladies that were brought front row to watch the two teams go at each other. And I think that was an experience for them too. And I think that was the first thing that my daughter Ashley said was they could have made different types of nets, like maybe out of tree twigs and make it look authentic.
Yeah.
It was red CCM tube with the white netting.
Yep.
Throwing a goat into it on a horseback.
Yeah, it definitely it doesn't really fit the landscape.
And then they got the AK-47s. Okay, where does that fit in here? Yeah, it was cool though.
Nice. Excuse me. So would you consider? I think I know the answer, but would you consider taking more background work in the area?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've been a local here in Kamloops for 27 years. I think it's one way to give back to your community, but you're promoting your area, but you're also getting paid for it, and you're getting put in an environment that you would never dream of being in, and you learn a lot because you never know what happens behind the scenes to get that screenshot on. And now I have a better understanding of how it's going when I'm watching a movie and I see a close up or I see a fade away or I see, a shadow or a ghost. That there's a lot more effort put into movies nowadays. It was quite an eye opener and exciting. And I think that's what it was. It was like, and then you can brag to your friends and your family, hey, I was an extra in a movie. And it's like, okay, so you must be good looking. Of course, yeah. That's why. That's the only reason.
Nice. So a film set can be kind of a high stress environment. How do you think it was for your kids being on set? Did they kind of notice any stress on set, or did they just have a good time and not notice?
I think my teenage daughter got bored really quick. I think probably after the 6th hour.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for them to do other than sit. And girls or boys at that age want to do something.
Yeah.
And you couldn't just wander off. You had to stay where you should, not like their dad. But yeah, I think they enjoyed it. They still brag about it. And they still, even the other ones, whenever I signed up for anything or I've heard of opportunities for extras, if I mentioned, hey, you should put your name for it, right away they would do it. So to me, that was an interest that they found interesting because they kept putting their name forward for other ones too.
Nice.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because it sometimes, and we have talked to some people who like they go in for their first experience in a movie, and it's just unpleasant,
Right.
and so they're kind of it was Ryan Kavanaugh in season 1.
Right.
He worked on the A-Team and just realized that film is not something he really
Wow.
wants to continue with. But for the most part, and even Ryan said it was like very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool industry to work in. So I'm glad they had a pleasant experience, and you as well.
And I just to add to that, I think one of the reasons they had a good experience with Afghan Luke is there's a lot of animals around. There was horses brought in. There must have been 20 horses, goats, sheep, chickens, ducks, you name it. It was a village, and so that kept them occupied too. They could go wherever they were tied up in petting zoo in the middle of nowhere. So that sort of kept them occupied as well. I think that was cool, not only for the kids, I think even for the adults. Like we had something to do. You go talk to the cowboy that's dressed up like an Afghan warrior, sitting on a horse, and he's got the Western accent, and he's from Merritt, and he's brought his trailer, and you go talk to the owner of the ranch that brings up horses, and he's matched up every horse to each, because some of those riders were extras as well.
Yep.
They just signed up as, yes, I can ride a horse, and they had to give their history of what experience do they have. So as the owner of the ranch that brought the horses, those are very expensive horses. So you want to make sure that you're matching the right person to the right horse.
Yeah.
Else that could turn that scene sideways real quick.
Nice. Yeah, I love working with animals. I got to work in a petting zoo once, in the West Side petting zoo.
Yeah.
And there's an emu that came over my shoulder while I was working and just started looking at what I was doing. It makes it much more fun.
Are those the ones that start spitting at you when they're mad?
That one didn't.
Okay,
I don't know
good.
if they spit, but that one definitely didn't, thankfully.
Yeah.
I only have one more question for you. But can you tell us a little bit about kind of the relationship of the film industry and Kamloops in our area?
Oh, wow. That's, am I allowed to talk about my positions on TNRD?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. So being a city councillor on my second term now, I think we live in one of the most beautiful parts of BC. And I'm from East Vancouver, and Grouse Mountain and Seymour Mountain and the ocean. You can go skiing in the morning and golfing in the afternoon, and water sailing in late in the afternoon as well. Beautiful. When it's a perfect day in Vancouver, you can't beat it. But if moving in the interior here, there's so much here that's untapped and it's natural. And I think once you start seeing the interests that have come up on their own, we had a film commissioner for a number of years, and we started getting the Afghan Lukes and the Night in the Museum coming up, but then we started getting more and more interest. Hollywood North. Well, Hollywood North, we always thought the film industry is all down in Vancouver. They're building, sets in North Vancouver. It's a whole, they're never going to go past Hope.
Yeah.
Well, they've got past Hope and further than that now, because they've seen what we live in. They notice what it is. And like I said, Afghan Luke and Night Museum, our desert area resembles Afghanistan or other. But if you go into Knutsford, it looks like farmland that could be in the prairies with the Edith Lake. Yeah. And there's so many variables that we don't know until we have a catalog like Terry Hadwin has now. She knows what's coming up north and what they're looking for, and she can showcase what we have here. And I think that has really amplified Kamloops or the interior in itself. Southern interior is a go-to place. Hotels are available, tradesmen are available, materials available, and it can be readily delivered to the site. Not like Vancouver where the truck's stuck in traffic for an hour. And I think they get more of a bang or exposure being in a smaller town, because we're not used to the lights, camera action, and roads closing, and we're intrigued, we're curious. Whereas in the big cities, it's just another day walking past a movie set.
Yep.
And it's background noise or what.
Yeah.
That's not here. That's still exciting. It's still, and I think that catches. Now you got another captive audience that wants to know what's being shot and when can they see it.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, look, that's so-and-so store, or that's, yeah, I think it's just I think smaller communities or smaller municipalities have a better appreciation of that $1 that comes into your community. We really, what's the word I'm looking for? Value that dollar. Whereas I think the bigger communities or bigger suburbs like Toronto, Vancouver, that $1 doesn't, it means a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's a heavy industry, but I think that dollar goes further in smaller communities as it does in the bigger communities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And especially with like, we have a bigger tax credit out
Absolutely.
here too. And,
yeah. And now I think through Terry, I think we're the first ones, TNRD, just approved it last year. I remember voting on it. We got the first electric generators.
Yeah.
We don't want any noise. We want to cut down noise. That's one of the concerns that some of the businesses or residents had. If a movie's been shot overnight or early in the morning, that generator noise is what was causing the most concerns or the most phone complaints. And what better way to save the environment? And especially if you're out in the wilderness and you're by cattle or horses, a spooky noise like that could rattle them. So now they got electric generators. We invested in them, and that's our extra investment to draw more productions up here to say, look, we're also environmentally friendly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That initiative is
Huge.
really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've I worked on a short at the beginning of this year in Vancouver where
Right.
we needed one of those generators, and they're expensive.
Yeah.
And the way that if we were shooting up here, we could have just had one.
Exactly.
It's such an incredible difference. Like for us, we were a small project, so
Right.
that would have made a really big difference for us. But even just knowing that our film commission is looking at that and our city's looking at that,
And that's
is really
Terry.
important.
She's the lead on that.
Oh yeah.
And that'll pay itself off. Maybe not in money right away, but it'll pay us off in, look what Kamloops is doing.
Yeah.
Look what the film commission up in Thompson Nicola region is doing. That's huge. And that there's always, for everything, whether you're a city community leader or a director at TNRD or a business leader in the interior, you always want to have something stick out a little bit brighter and shinier than everywhere else, so people at least don't just skip over you in a page. They stop and look and say, and it registers somewhere. Hey, they're doing something pretty cool up there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've got a lot that we can do up here.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
hopefully some more people start taking note as the industry picks up again.
Exactly.
And I think they have been, honestly, over the last few months. So
Yeah, that's what Terry's been telling us, that there's
Yeah.
a lot of interest. We got a little bit of a hiccup with the man south of the border that is, targeting tariffs on films, and everybody in the industry that I've talked to or I've read about, it's going to be really hard for him to figure out what was shot outside of Hollywood and what is Hollywood.
yeah.
So again, it's just another speed bump in the road, and I think that industry already has been through enough, and they don't need it. From what I've been hearing, they're just ignoring it because it's just noise in the background.
Yeah.
They need to. Their job is to make movies, not get political.
Yep.
And who's ever funding the movie or whoever's got the deep pockets, they had to worry about, is that really legit what he's coming forward to? Is it going to hit your bottom line? Or can you make it back at the box office or on the screen? And that's what they got to worry about. But I think we're in a good position here that they know what we have here, that the American dollar is still strong. And we got the talent here, and we got the staff, and you name it. There's not much that we can't do here in Match Hollywood.
Yeah. Awesome.
I love it.
That's all my questions for you. So,
Yeah, same here, Bill.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
No worries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great having you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Well, with that, we'll take it back to the studio for Kyle's Cool Facts.
Awesome.
Well, thank you to Bill for joining us
Thanks,
for
Bill.
this interview. Much appreciated. Always fun to talk to people. So, Kyle's Cool Facts.
Love it.
Let's do it. I'm a little light on this movie.
It's understandably so.
Yeah, this movie didn't get a lot of marketing or a lot of anything behind it. However, this was nominated, as well as the Genie Award that you mentioned, for a Screenwriters Guild of Canada award.
Nice.
Yeah. So I do like the story and the script. I think it was nice and original and well executed. So I agree with that. I don't know what it was up against, but I like it. Canadian film critic Adam, I believe he's Canadian. I can't prove that, actually.
Did you say Adam?
Adam Donaldson?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There's another Adam. Damn, I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
Who I know is Canadian.
Okay. So anyway, film critic Adam Donaldson said about the film, quote, "I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Afghan Luke is probably the best war satire since either Robert Altman's MASH or Three Kings by David O. Russell."
Wow. That is a bold statement.
Yeah, that's a big one, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Disagree. This movie should not be in the same breath as those two. At all.
It is, in fact, a war satire.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that part of it was fun. So I wanted to include this. I knew you wouldn't like it. I knew you wouldn't like that. But that's all I've got.
Wow. Okay.
Those are my fun facts.
Okay.
So moving on to the Small Town Impact cinematic imprint. This is not the only time that Kamloops has doubled as Afghanistan. We have played Afghanistan, obviously, Afghan Luke.
Yep.
But also in the films Red Snow and Afghan Nights. Was there another one? We just talked about this. Was there 4?
Wasn't there 18?
Was that Afghanistan?
I can't remember. It's been a
I
year.
don't think so. It's 3. We're going with 3.
3 it
It's
is.
the 3 films. But yeah, we apparently play them a lot.
Okay.
And my last note on this film.
Mhm.
And thank you to the Film Commission for providing this. I love when they have this information. This is my favorite part. This film created a $650,000 economic impact
Nice.
in Kamloops.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's crazy, right?
Wow.
So even this movie, which almost this is a very low watched or little watched film. It didn't get big release. It didn't get big funding, and yet $650,000 of economic activity. And that's all caterers, buying food, locations, crew, all of that stuff, background. Yeah. So I really love when we can get that info. It's a lot of money.
It's only been watched by 159 people on Letterboxd.
That's crazy.
That's minuscule.
And we're 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
I enjoyed a little talk about Afghan Luke. If you also did, please check us out on
Don't
social
forget
media.
to give the movie a rating.
Oh, we'll cut that. Rate the movie, Manny.
No, you go first.
I'll go first. You're not gonna like it. I gave it a 3.
No. There's no way you gave this a 3.
I think I'm gonna take it down to a 2.5.
You. There's no way.
Yeah.
You are just being nice. You are just being nice. There's no way you watched this movie and gave it a 2.5 or a 3.
I had a lot of fun with the comedy in it. I feel like I know what you're going to give it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's deserving.
Okay.
It's a 1. Get out of here. This movie is junk. Don't watch it.
I thought it was funny. I enjoyed it enough. It's not like it's that long either.
I wish I'd been watching there beside you to watch you actually laugh as much as you say you did. A 3. A 3.
A 3 is a good movie with bad parts to me.
This is not a good movie with bad parts.
It's really funny to me. I don't know. Maybe I'll rewatch it and I'll feel differently.
You're going to rewatch this.
Maybe one day. Just to spite you now.
I'm embarrassed for you right now.
Wow. Just appreciate that I enjoyed something.
That's true. That's true. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Exclamation point.
Well, on that note, are we ready to wrap things up?
Wrap it up.
Thank you very much for joining us to talk about Afghan Luke. I had a lot of fun. I love leaving off on a note like this. Oh, I love stressing Manny out so much. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, please check us out on social media. Give us a follow, give us likes and comments and all that jazz. We're on Facebook at Small Town Big Screen. We're on Instagram at smalltownbigscreen.pod. We're on Reddit at stbs_podcast. Yes. And if you'd like to reach out to us and talk directly, the best way is by email, which is smalltownbigscreen.pod@gmail.com. Give us your notes. Let us know. This is new, actually, as well, too, because I didn't bring it up in the shooter episode. So if you like the new set, give us a shout out. Oriana, thank you for designing it and bringing the pieces together. So on that note, for the Small Town Big Screen podcast, I'm Kyle Robertson.
I'm Manny Manuel. Adios.